Hi class. So today is Monday, February 14th, 2022, and there is no live class today, so you'll watch the recording. So today we're going to start off with looking at our pretty little dragon that was made with Illustrator, just something I wanted to share with you. Just a really cool looking dragon that I believe they made with some lines and some colors. I think it looks really great. Again, a gentle reminder about your IBC. If you take it and pass it and have an 80 in the class, you don't have to take the final. We will have definitely more information coming up. All right, so today's docket is review. We will be reviewing type on a path and artboards and tracking and kerning and some warp. We are going to learn about Magic Wand tool, and we're going to learn about a blending tool. Or blending mode, I'm sorry. It's a little different than blending tool. Okay, let's get going. So first, let's do our review. If you wanted to type your company name in a circle on an Illustrator document, what tool would you use? So answers are on the last review slide, which is slide 9. So hopefully you remember from last week and the week before that we did our type tool, we used the tools to type on circles and rectangles and stars. All right, moving on. If your client would like larger space between the T and the H in the word the, what would you need to do? So just 2 individual letters that you are trying to put some space in between. So again, answers are on slide 9. This next one talks about a client that wants to decrease the space between 3 lines of text in a magazine layout. So you would make the leading. Remember, lines and leading, tracking throughout, and kernels individual kernel of popcorn. So again, answers are on slide 9. If you want to create more emphasis in a title on your website, you bold the font and increase the tracking. Remember, tracking throughout. When you increase the tracking, it does what? Okay, again, answers are on slide 9. When you make your text look like it's waving, looks like it's waving a flag, how do you do that? So we did this last class. If you don't remember, you can always open up an Illustrator and try it. Go to Object, go to the Object tab, and click on Transform and Scale and see if you can make it a flag there. And if that doesn't work, let's go back and try the Object Envelope Distort and then Make with Warp. Or try this one or this one. And again, the answers are actually on the next slide. So let's take a look at those. So if hopefully you remember, we created 3 words and we typed them on a path on a we made a rectangle and a circle and a star, and we just started typing on them, and we selected the path by clicking on the type tool with path, and we typed it on. Kerning was an individual. Remember, it's individual. And yes, it is true that leading in line, you create more space between the 2 lines. The fourth one, if you want to create all space between all characters, is tracking throughout. And the last one, you would go to the Object tab and then make sure you've selected the little square that's around your words, and then you would click on Envelope Distort and Make with Warp. If you need to review that, I believe it's in last Friday's recording. All right, so the next one wants us to open Illustrator and create a new file and create 3 shapes the same color. So let's do that now. I have my Illustrator open and I'm going to open a new file. It doesn't matter what size, you can pick whatever size, it just doesn't matter. I'm going to click Create, and then I want to get a rectangle. So I did put a rectangle on here. If you'll notice, that rectangle is white. I don't really want it white because I want to be able to see it. So I'm just going to grab a color and turn it blue. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Come on. Color. Okay. There it goes. All right. And then we want to get a circle. So let's get a circle, and remember to get a circle from ellipse. You hold the Shift key down while you're dragging, and that will make it perfectly round. And here's my star. So I've got all 3 And then I am going to go back to the PowerPoint and it's going to talk about our magic tool. So our magic wand tool, it says so find the magic wand tool in the tools panel. And then to set the options, either double click it in the panel or choose the magic wand tool from the window menu. So let's go back and take a look at that. I am looking and I see selection, selection. It's not there, it's not there, it's not there. Doesn't look like it's in brush, it's not in text. Okay, I'm looking. I don't see this magic wand tool. So what I'm thinking is that, remember how we have the tool panel that is the expanded and the advanced? I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the advanced. So I click on window, I find toolbar. Oopsie. Come on, window, toolbar. Haha, it's just being obnoxious. Come on. All right. I don't know what that. Okay. There. All right. Give me a second. Let me see what's wrong with my computer. Okay, for some reason it didn't like that I was on eyedropper, so that's why I kept just flipping out on me. There we go. Now it's, I did it like 2 seconds ago. There, advanced, my goodness. And there now we can see that magic tool wand, or the magic wand tool appears. Okay, so if you don't have it, check your window. Hopefully you don't have as many problems as I did. So I'm gonna select magic wand tool. And I want to, I'm going to try and just, I'm going to escape and make sure that I'm not on anything before I select my magic wand tool, and I'll show you the difference in just a second. So here is my magic wand tool, and I'm going to select this one. Notice that all three of them are selected, okay, which is what I want. Let's go back and do it the other way. Let's escape. And let's have just the star selected, and then let's go to my magic wand tool, and then I want to select this one. It does select all of them. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. What you do want to just watch out for is to make sure that all three are selected. Okay, so we've got our three shapes drawn, and they're all the same color. So then we've got our magic wand tool. We did find our magic wand tool, and I wanted to talk a little bit. I know I got all excited about finding the magic wand tool, that we didn't talk about this part. So once you do find your magic wand tool, I want you to click on this thing right here. So here is where you can actually fill color. You can do a stroke color, a stroke weight, and opacity. You can do a blend mode. So remember, I got to that by double clicking, and you get your panel or option color. Okay, so what does this exactly mean? Well, this means that if you had a pretty big complicated let's say, for instance, you had this dragon up. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you had this dragon and you have changed your mind and you want some of this darker red to go with a, I don't know, maybe make it black. So you want this range of red to be a different color. You want it to start with a black. And so instead of clicking on each individual little triangle, you could use your magic wand tool and you could set it to the tolerance. And what the tolerance is that you can say it's kind of like between this green and this green, or between this red and this red, and it will find all of the ones that are within that range of color, and then it'll allow you to change it. Let's say you want to change the weight of all those strokes, that you want those triangles to stick out a little more on here. You want them not just to be that little blue, but you want them to be nice and dark, or maybe you want them to disappear altogether. Again, with your magic wand tool, you could select the stroke and then you could change it. You could change it to 0, which then it would disappear, or you could change it to much bigger. So you can change the color of the stroke as well. You could change it from that blue to maybe a black or a red or whatever color. So it does allow you to change a lot of things at one time. We're just going to change the fill color. That's all we're going to do. Now let's go back over here. So we are on this one. So that is just a cool place to change a bunch of stuff. So what we're going to do is we are going to, this is just where you can find it. If you can't find it in the, you can check, this is what we talked about. This is, so it wants us to select a color, make sure all the shapes are selected, which we did. Then double click on the color swatch to open the color picker. Change the RGB value to one of the 2021 colors. So I looked up 2021 colors, and these are the colors that apparently last year were like the best colors for the whole year. I like this blue, so I'm going to change my RGB to 0, 87, and 128. So it said to come and click down on our color picker, so I'm going to double click there. All right, so I've double clicked there, and remember I said that I wanted to change it the RGB. So I'm going to click on the R, and I believe the R was 0, and then I believe this one was something, was it 87? I can't remember. Now it's not letting me go back to my PowerPoint. There it goes. 0, 87, 128. 0, 87. So this one would be 87. And the last one would be 128. Okay, and then I'm going to click OK, and it changes all of my shapes to that color. So I didn't have to individually do it. So that's part of just some cool stuff that the Magic Wand tool does. All right, moving on. So we are going to now be exploring extensively the blending mode. So it's not the blend tool. This is different. This is the blending mode. So it wants us to open up a new document, and it wants us to go to the Windows menu and select transparency. So let's go and do that. So I am just going to click File New. Letter is good. And then it asks us to do Window and then find Transparency. And this is the little pop-out menu that we want. I'm going to go ahead and close my magic tool. So let's go back here, and what's next? It wants us to use the shape tool and create 2 circles and place them on the image as shown. So let's get a couple circles. Okay, 1, I didn't pick a color, and 2, I didn't press shift. So there's shift. Oh, it did want a green and a green and a yellow. So let me go ahead and change that to a green. Let's just do color swatches. Let's just do green. Let's click OK. And then let's go back and do another. So because I want these circles to be identical, I'm going to hold my Alt key down. I'm going to click on select first, I'm sorry, and then hold my Alt key down, and I'm holding it down. I get that little second triangle, and then I can just make a second circle that's identical. Okay, now I can go ahead and change the color of that second circle. I'm going to go back to my color swatches, and I'm just going to use my CMKY yellow, clicking OK. All right, so now we have both of our colors. Let me, I think I'm going to try and minimize this screen so we can have both at the same time. So let me go ahead and make that disappear. Okay, yep. And then let me grab this, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so we can see that nicely. All right, and then I will do the same with my PowerPoint. Okay, so we've got, my colors are backwards, but that's okay. So then we will apply, so the default mode, so it wants us to get into, where is my transparency? Let's see if I can find it again. It is here. I toggled it off, and I'm toggling it back on to see if I can find it. I can't find it. There it is. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is our normal mode, and it just basically says it doesn't do anything. Okay, so the normal mode doesn't do anything. I'm going to pause the recording here because it only lets me do 15 minutes, and part 2 we will finish the rest of it.